Let's talk about the good and bad from Friday. Here on the video report, I won yet again. Easy winner with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, the free pick roll is pretty damn impressive, I would say. 47 and 19, the last 66 plays. That's dating back to October in all sports combined. And I go over these numbers for those of you that are coming new to the video today. And then 27 and 11 with my last 38. T-Wolves easy winner. Now, the problem is over at DeMarcosports.com yesterday, I had a best bet in baseball. The Seattle Mariners minus $1.25 on the run line. It was entirely predicated on how well Logan Gilbert has been pitching for the Mariners at home over the past couple of seasons. And it looked great with the Mariners up 1-0 after 3 innings. Gilbert was rolling along, and then Gilbert left the game with an arm injury. And that's how the cookie crumbles, because I'm a handicapper, not a psychic. Logan didn't call me before the game and said, hey, my elbow's kind of hurting just a little bit. So what do? You shrug your shoulders, you mutter your 17 favorite obscenities, maybe 18 in this case, and then you move forward. It's why I've always said you can't lament the losses. You can't celebrate the wins. You've got to remain even-keeled because things like this happen. And you move forward. So today on the video report, I've got a number of complimentary plays here. We're going to talk about a couple of different NBA games, but a couple of other notes here. And remember, if you don't want to listen to me at the bottom, the chapters, you can just move forward. It's your option. First of all, we have a new member of the Coachroach Club, but this is kind of a unique induction today because this guy is just a loser. He's a keyboard warrior, a guy who hides behind a username, and I'll tell you why. So today we induct Brian Ferry, 1853. Brian, Brian, Ferry, 1853, who wrote in well after my video report went offline yesterday. He said about me, this dude is and I'm not going to repeat the word, it was some derogatory comment, but he's right about Shaq. But see, here's the deal with Brian. Not a customer at my site. And he created that YouTube account on April 24th. So I think Brian is just a guy hiding behind his keyboard like so many other people on the internet that I don't give a damn about. And I think Brian is probably a guy that I already blocked here from the site anyway, or he's one of my stalkers because there's a number of them out there. And I'm not kidding about that, guys. There are stalkers in this industry, just like any other business. But what Brian doesn't realize is that his comment never saw the light of day until today because I mock him, because I know you guys enjoy me mocking these losers. Because, again, I'm God here at this site, and your comment doesn't get out, Brian, unless I decide to make it public. So go ahead. You've been reported. You've been blocked. Create another account. Doesn't mean a damn to me because I still make the same amount of money because I'm a capitalist, and I don't give a damn. So there we go. Today, once again, let's welcome to the Coachroach Club, Brian Ferry, with that made-up name, 1853. One of the guys here that contributes regularly and mentions things down in the YouTube comment sections, a guy by the name of Robert, asked me probably, 4 months ago, and I'm just getting around to it today, about if I had ever met Jimmy the Greek. So, quick story here. Back in the 90s, actually, was it the 90s? Yes, in the early 90s. I forget how long I've been doing this. Before the internet, before I created, by the way, Brian Ferry, I created this online industry, this selling platform that so many people have robbed from me over the years. Yours truly created it 22 years ago. I wish I could have copyrighted it. I wish I could have trademarked my thoughts, my intelligence, the work that I put into developing this selling concept, bringing what had been a very profitable 900 business that was dying onto the internet in terms of selling picks. But the bottom line is this. Back in the early 90s, the 900 telephone business where you got your sports picks, I was working for a company in Atlanta. I was in charge of marketing, advertising, and promoting the scoreboards. We had free scoreboards that promoted the 900 numbers. We were doing between $20 and $25 million a year. Scary, isn't it? 20 to 25 million a year on people calling 900 numbers to get their sports information. A guy that was a partner with us, did business with us in Las Vegas, one day calls up and says, hey, how would you like to add Hank Stram, the former Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl winning coach, and Jimmy the Greek to your stable of handicappers? I was against it because it was at a point in the industry where everybody was hiring former coaches, former players, because they thought, oh my God, these guys are going to generate a lot of profit for us. It never panned out. I was against it. I wasn't the owner of the company. They brought him in. So Jimmy and Hank come in for a meeting. We were based in Atlanta at the time. Jimmy, this was only maybe a year and a half or so before he passed away, which I think was like 1996. Every bit as friendly as you could possibly imagine, very gregarious, very funny guy. I mean, just a very pleasant guy. Now, Jimmy the Greek was before my time, but he got fired from CBS in the NFL pregame show. He was a guy, though, that kind of had a free pass, giving his picks out online. I vaguely remember, he would hint at what the line was and who was going to cover, but those were the days before on national TV you could actually give out point spreads. I mean, boy, haven't we come a long way, huh? But nice guy, nice guy. Hank Stram, amazing. Hank Stram was just the most entertaining guy, a guy who, again, I wasn't paying attention to the Kansas City Chiefs when they won Super Bowl IV over Minnesota, but Hank Stram comes in and he just sits there and he's talking with us. And then somebody among our group says, hey, Hank, how about that win against the Vikings, the famous 65 toss power sweep? If you've ever watched NFL films on ESPN or anywhere else, they had them mic'd up from that game, the 65 toss power trap. So, power trap, not sweep, by the way. We have a huge chalkboard in the building where we're sitting with him. He goes over, picks up the chalk, driving, diagramming the whole plane, telling us who the people were. All these years later, at every single position, I had Taylor going over here. I had Lenny taking the pass. Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing. For 10 minutes, he was just incredible. I felt like I was a player in an NFL locker room prepping for a game. But that's how Hank Stram was, because if you ever listen to him on the radio, when he did the Monday night radio broadcast, it was almost like he could predict the play before it was happening. But then again, he was a Super Bowl winning coach. Long story short, I was right. Their numbers did nothing. I'm not even sure if they made the plays. I have no idea. All I know is that the plays were called in. We got them each day. Nobody cared. Because the reality was, when we were doing that $20 to $25 million a year, we had all these outside handicappers. And I always thought it was such a ridiculous thing because we're promoting them and they're taking up to 50% of the revenue when we were the stars. Finally, the owner saw it my way. It was too late. He'd already gambled away the company and had to sell it for pennies. We were the stars, guys like me and all the guys that I worked with at the time, because that's who the public identified, because the free score phone network was basically a YouTube channel before YouTube or the internet ever existed. So anyway, that's my story there. The other quick NFL story here, we're going into the final day of the draft. First draft I ever covered, 1982. I'm in college. I'm an intern at that time. I'm working as a cameraman for Jim Gray, who was like 4 years older than me and had an ego that would fill up Madison Square Garden. He was a prick. That's what I'll say about Jim Gray. We go over to Veterans Stadium. The Eagles have the 19th pick in the first round. I am one of two cameramen there when Dick Vermeil comes on out. And Dick Vermeil comes out and you would think somebody shot his dog, because everybody and their brother knew the Eagles were targeting a wide receiver from Clemson University by the name of Perry Tuttle. Buffalo Bills took him with the 18th pick. So Dick Vermeil comes out and he announces that they took Mike Quick. Mike Quick, a guy who turned into a five-time Pro Bowler, a guy who had 363 catches, 61 touchdowns. And I'm watching him. I have him right in the camera. And I am literally 6 feet away from Dick Vermeil as he's talking about the pick. Ashen face. But as we know, Dick Vermeil was always overextending himself, it seemed to be. Announcing the pick, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like, boy, this guy's disappointed. He didn't get Perry Tuttle. Long story short here, Perry Tuttle had a 2-year career, a cup of coffee with the Buffalo Bills, played a couple of games for the Atlanta Falcons, and had 25 career catches. Yeah, sometimes the draft doesn't work out the way you plan, and sometimes it turns out much better. Okay, with all that being said, let's move forward to your complimentary plays today. I looked at all these games, and I think that the Clippers will continue to dominate against Denver, especially since the Nuggets, who don't have a lot of bench strength and are always seemingly shorthanded. This is a Thursday, Saturday series, so you don't have that extra day of rest that some teams get. You saw how the Clippers could have won game one, did win game two. Game three blew them out. And of course, I told you the Clippers would win the series. I gave you that as a complimentary play at even money. 117 to 83 on Thursday. And really, there's no rest for the weary when you're talking about the Nuggets. I mean, Jokic and Murray had 23 each, and Gordon had 15, and they still got blown out. Their bench had 6 points. Clippers bench had 31. And Leonard came back to normal, or hit his season norms, I should say, with 21 points. Harden, 20, six double-figure scores for the Clippers. So they're a 6-point favorite at home today with the momentum in the series. Should be up 3-0, but I think they go up 3-1 today. So that is going to be my complimentary play. But let's quickly talk about the other games. So on the night card, you have Golden State and Houston. You know what happened with Jimmy Butler getting hurt in game number 2 after Golden State won game number 1. Butler, iffy for tonight. I just have a feeling, and you can't bet feelings, at least in my book. I have a feeling Golden State is actually going to win this game. Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people are going to jump on the Rockets plus the 3.5 points because Butler may or may not play. But this is an inexperienced Rockets team when it comes to the postseason, and they were up and down on the road this year. So I'm willing to lay the 3.5 points with Golden State. My second favorite play, however, today, behind your official complimentary play on Denver, would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's the early 1 o'clock game. So they're a 5.5-point favorite. This is a team that averaged 121.9 points during the regular season. They hit 121 in both of the first games. In game number 2, they nearly blew all that 17-point lead as Tyler Hero went crazy with 33. And of course, afterwards, Hero criticizes Darius Garland. I don't know. It's always a good idea to piss off your opponents who are up 2-0 in the series, even if you're going to be playing at home. I think it's a very manageable price. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's had back-to-back games of 30, well over a season average of 23. Obviously, that sprained ankle that kept him out the final 4 games of the regular season isn't bothering him. And I think this is a very cheap price for the Cavaliers at minus 5.5. So again, my official complimentary play will be the LA Clippers minus the 6 at home tonight against Denver. But of the two leans, I said the word leans, I think Cleveland is a little stronger than Golden State because the Warriors are clearly just a hunch. But I handicapped the game, so I figured I'd pass them on to you. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well and talk to you again on Sunday.